First off, I do not think you need a studio to make good content. But it was something that I chose to do for a few different reasons, and I'll explain that. So this is not my first stint with content creation, right? I've created YouTube channels before that didn't really get successful because I was inconsistent. I would start off really, really strong. I'm really good at starting things off, but finishing them is a problem for me. And, I was really passionate about what I was doing. I was making quality videos, and then I got to maybe my 10th video, I stopped because life, whether it was starting school or trying to take care of my family, trying to focus on work, whatever it was, I would just completely stop. And there was really no accountability. I would try to keep myself focused, but when you're a solo shooter, one of the things that's not really talked about a lot is just that push or that encouragement or that accountability partner that's going to help you maintain that passion and that drive. And I just didn't have that, and I struggled, so I quit a lot. And starting out again, I said, what can I do to hold myself accountable, to kind of, build this point within myself where I'm like, look, I have to do it. I have to. And I thought the best way to do that for me was to rent a studio every month. So like I said, this studio space is very simple. It doesn't cost that much. I pay around $200 and something a month for a set number of hours. And like I said, really the biggest thing for me is that it holds me accountable. So every week I know that I have to spend a certain amount of hours in the studio doing what I need to do. And I like to say that I'm working on my 10,000 hours, but honestly, I don't have money to pay for 10,000 hours. So I just built in this way to hold myself accountable. Like if I'm spending money on studio space, you better believe I'm gonna be in the studio doing work. The thing about, being a solo shooter early on in like this sort of content creation thing that I'm doing is that you're not getting paid to do this. Like I'm not being paid to make videos, which is why I don't care if it's low quality where I need to adjust some things. Yeah, there we go. Because really this is almost therapeutic to me. It's me working out my craft. And I would never say that I'm like great at anything. There's not one particular thing that I've been focusing on for a long period of time. But I think content creation is something where I've like consistently tried to get better. And this is the next step. This is the next step for me. Another reason why I chose to do content creation in a studio is because honestly, it gives me a lot more leeway to be creative. I don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. I don't have to try to update my home so that I can have a home studio. I don't have to get on people's nerves at my house when I have a camera in their face or in my face, because it does get annoying for them, I think. But I have the studio space, and my wife knows exactly where I'm gonna be. She knows how long I'm gonna be there. And, I think it provides a sense of consistency that makes it a little bit more comfortable to make content. Peerspace is an app that you can get on there. You can rent different types of spaces depending on the type of event that you're trying to have. For me, I went on Peerspace and I was looking for photography and videography studios, production studios. And with those production studios, they give you a variety of different spaces that you can visit. I'm in Nashville, so I was just like looking at a bunch of different spaces that I could rent. And for a while, I was just renting per hour. So I would go and I would spend like $50 to rent a studio for an hour, or however many hours I used it. I found myself using multiple studios, like depending on how many people I had on the podcast, depending on the availability, I would just choose different studios. But it got to a point where I was trying to request places and then I would see that they were booked, and it was like, dang, I don't have any consistency. You know, I want to be able to set up in the same spot. I want to be able to have my things just in position when I get there. So I just started renting the place monthly because I wanted to have consistent hours. I wanted my stuff to be laid out, man. And that's what I did. So I ended up paying a few $100s a month. So, you know, I think right now it works out really well because I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to reserve space. I don't have to worry about planning because all my stuff is in my calendar on my phone. I know exactly when I'm going to be in the studio, how long I'm going to be in the studio. I know where my stuff is going to be set up. And it just works. I've been here since 9 a.m. and I'm getting pretty tired, actually. So I'm about to get out of here. But yeah, this is, you know, really awesome, I think, opportunity for you to grow. Or at least it's an opportunity for me to grow. And I feel like I have. You know, I feel a little bit more professional when I reach out to, you know, the people that I bring on my podcast. You know, I'll say something like, you know, my studio is, I'll be in my studio at this time. And they're like, oh, you got a studio? I'm like, yes, I do. So it feels good. It feels like a flex, but honestly, it is more professional, you know, because renting a studio space for your craft is respectable. So you should have a lot more respect. And I feel a lot more respect for myself because I'm actually producing content. And that's amazing for me. So I don't know if you should do it, but all I can say is, for me, renting a studio has been, you know, a real game changer in this season of my content creating career. And, you know, it just provides me a lot more freedom, space, and opportunity to just expand. And, you know, until I can afford to make my own studio. Actually, I don't even know if I would ever want to make my own studio, like at my house or anything like that, because it's just, I don't know. I don't know about that. I would rather just be away from my house because, you know, I want it to be a different environment and a different feel. While I'm here, I feel like a creator! Okay. That was a little weird. That was weird. That was weird.